All right, so why don't you tell the viewers your name, your occupation, and where you live?
My name is Joy, and I am in the mortgage finance industry and real estate, and I live in Orange County.
Beautiful. And so we've been asking the ladies to tell the viewers a few key pivotal moments in their life process, whatever you want to call it, that really kind of influenced them, molded them, changed them. So for you, what would you say that you were like, as far back as you can remember, what was like your first pivotal moment in life?
So long ago.
Oh,
ages and eons ago. So I was born in Vietnam, came to the US with my family, and I'm the eldest of 6 siblings. So we came from a very large family. I grew up in the desert area of California, and I got married, got pregnant at 18, and it delivered my son in the summer on my birthday.
Wow. So you and your oldest son have the same birthday?
We have the same birthday and the same personality. Oh, God, it's like there are moments where I'm like, gosh, I must be this annoying. No, I'm kidding. I love my son. He's so talented. He's so amazing. So my oldest is 25.
Okay.
And I had him at 19. I got married at 19. And so it was just really a very rushed, kind of like a baby, having a baby, you know, getting into a marriage, all at once. And it was so just rocky from the very beginning in terms of like our relationship, because he was very, very controlling, very manipulative, very abusive. And I was married for 13 and a half years. And finally, it wasn't until I was in my early 30s that I was like, enough is enough. You know, during my marriage, I had 4 beautiful children, right? And I didn't have any friends. I was totally committed to isolated. Even from my family, because I was a workaholic. So in my misery, I just threw myself into work. Like I would be up at 5 o'clock in the morning getting ready to be the first in the office and the last to leave. So thank God I had my family, my parents, to help me take care of my kids. But at that time, I first got into the mortgage industry. It was just like at the peak of the boom, and that was right before the market crash. And so after the market crash, I pretty much left the industry, and then also that was when I was just decided to leave my marriage. Okay. And he was not having it. He was telling me, he's like, you are not walking away from this marriage.
How long at this point had you guys been married?
13 and a half years.
Okay, so most of your kids were all already born.
Yes.
And they were like adolescents?
Yeah, they were pretty much, by the time the divorce took place, I had, my youngest, she was around 8. Okay. And then, of course, my 3 boys, they were in junior high. Okay. Or no, I'm so sorry. 6th grade, 1 in junior high. Okay. So
you had this young family.
I had a very young family, yes. And then my husband became a sheriff deputy for LA County. And so we were kind of like picking our life back, picking the pieces back up after the market crash, because I was in the mortgage industry. And so at that time, when I told my then husband I wanted to leave, he became very violent. He tortured me for 24 hours physically, and I was in the hospital. I ended up in the hospital.
And he wouldn't, like when you told him, he wouldn't let you leave?
He wouldn't let me leave.
So
he's like, you're not leaving this marriage.
Is that where the
That's where it took place, and that's why he pretty much was just not gonna let me physically walk away. So I ended up in the hospital, and of course this all became a shock Like everybody was just like, we knew he had a temper, we knew he was violent, but we didn't know to this degree that you wanted to leave the marriage.
That the extent would get this bad.
This bad, where I was going to end up in the hospital with like half my hair shaved, my broken collarbone, you know, face scarred up from just knife cuts, you know. And so my family and just were in shock. I didn't have any friends. I mean, I had co-workers, right? Like, because I worked and acquaintances, but I was never allowed to really go out. I didn't have girlfriends.
Which in abusive relationships is kind of typical.
Yes.
To make the other partner very codependent
Yes.
on you so that they think they need you.
100%. So they isolate you to their own world. And so after that, it was, you know, of course, my family, I was now living in Orange County, and it was just me raising my four kids. And so it was crazy, you know. I was physically incapable of even driving myself, but in my mind and in my whole soul, I was just like, I need to go out there. I need to make this amount of money. I need to raise these four kids in Orange County. I need to make this work. And I couldn't even drive myself.
You say you couldn't drive. Was that because of the hospitalization or?
Well, just because I had slight brain damage, so I had trouble with walking straight. Like I would get up off the bed, and I was just like, "Oh, I got this." And then here I go, like zoop, sideways, and I'm like on the ground. My equilibrium was off for a few weeks, and so I couldn't drive. And of course, with the broken collarbone, and I had to go through physical therapy. So it was going to be a process that was going to need healing. And not even to mention the psychological healing.
I was going to say physical and mental.
And mental. And so, you know, of course, I was paired up with this amazing therapist, rest her soul, bless her heart. And I must have gone to therapy for 5 years. Okay. And then, and within the 5 years, I had to go to court and testify against my husband.
Right.
You know? And so with all that, in the process of the 5 years and going through healing and all that, I was raising my four kids, and it was pretty much the moment I opened my eyes, I was up and going. I was going to work. I had a full-time job in sales. I was having a hard time managing that job because with sales, it came with high stress, high pressure. And so I was constantly just trying to figure out what is the best job that I can do to raise my four kids, be a full-time employee, be a full-time mom, and you know, and so the best thing that I thought to do was I need to go back to school and finish my degree to teach, to be a elementary school teacher.
Okay.
And get my credentialing. And so I enrolled in college full-time, and the best jobs that accommodated my schedule was to work 3 part-time jobs. That's what it took to be able to have the sufficient amount of income in order to, and the flexibility, you know, working at night or working part-time in the day and working all day Saturday and Sunday to be able to raise my 4 kids. And also, you know, trying to give them the most normal life possible.
Right.
And having the peace of mind and also healing themselves.
Right.
Taking them to therapy, you know, taking them to ballet classes and track and field and marching band and teacher conference meetings. And so it was like literally me. I felt like I was in my car more often than not. I was like, get in the car to go to work, get in the car to drop off the kids at daycare, get in the car to pick them up, get in the car to take them here, take them there, get me here, get me there. It was just, I felt like I was all over God's green earth, collecting my children and releasing them day in and day out.
So what did you do? At what point were you like, okay, this is a hustle and bustle, but I don't necessarily feel fulfilled?
Right.
What did you do about it?
So I really, I never thought about my own self-fulfillment. I never thought about my own self-fulfillment because I did not have one single moment in my life where I felt like I could think about me. I could think about me. And so through the period, the years that my children were in school, it was all about them.
Yeah.
It was all about cooking and cleaning and running around and, getting them to school and feeding and, just making sure that they're safe, making sure that they're thriving, making sure that they are happy. We really, really were. We had so much peace within our home. We had, no more of the chaos, even though it may have seemed chaotic in terms of like my schedule and the energy that I had to put in to raising these 4 kids and doing just your normal day in and day out things. So for now in this age, now I'm finally looking at myself, I'm like, whoa, and even being in this part of group of Sad to Savage, it's just like, oh my gosh, I need to take care of my skin. I never even heard of SPF. I've never even heard of facial scrubs and moisturize and, exercising and doing yoga and everything is starting to go south. And now I'm like trying to fight time and trying to make everything go back up.
Make up for lost time.
Make up for lost time.
And now feel like you have time to do that.
Yes.
Your kids are grown.
Yes.
I feel like your kids too probably are at a point where they're wanting to, they know the things that you've gone through and the hardships, and they know because they've had to heal from the
Yes.
right? So now as you get older, I notice I do this with my parents, I can respect like, wow, you were going through pain, you were going through grief, but you still fed me, you still clothed me, you still took care of me.
Yeah.
So I want to be able to give back to you when I can, right? Not that they can pay all your bills and take you on trips, but whatever they can reciprocate in the gratitude.
Yes.
I'm sure that,
Oh, they
kids
are,
amazing, so.
they're so amazing. My children are so humble. They're so appreciative. I guess that was one of the positive sides of having a single mom that works so hard. I mean, my kids can appreciate every little thing that I was able to give them because they knew I worked my ass off. I worked so hard, and it made them appreciate and respect hard work.
Yeah.
They can appreciate when and being grateful for every little thing that they receive. I remember my sister taking my kids to go shopping for school, and the kids were like, "Where's the sale item? Where's the clearance rack?" And my sister was like, "What?" It's like, "No, baby, you can get whatever you want. Just pick what you want." And my kids were like, "No, that'll be too much money on you, auntie."
Right.
And I'm just like, when my sister told me that, I was just like, oh, I have such good kids.
They're thoughtful.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They're so thoughtful.
And to have the kind of trajectory of like a story that you've had, and then for them to come out more in a perception of gratitude and not in the mindset of the victim.
Yes.
Because you don't want them to feel that way forever.
No.
It's like you were at one point in
Right.
time, but you don't want them feeling
Yeah,
that way.
my kids don't ever project a victimhood. Ever. And, with being in school, I can honestly say they all received straight A's. They all, received Model Citizen awards. And even my kids as adult today working, they would have recognitions and awards and accolades that were just like, oh my gosh, who raised you? You're such an amazing soul. You're such an amazing, thoughtful kid. Yeah, human being.
And looking back on them now, the fact that they get this kind of feedback from whether it be a workplace or, a university or whatnot.
Yeah.
I'm sure it makes you feel really good about yourself.
100%.
But it also probably makes you feel now like, what are my goals? What are my, like you said, what can I think of for myself now? Like they're going to go and live their own life. They're doing these amazing things. Like, what are you looking forward to most? most in like your next chapter, I guess you call it?
You know, it's so crazy. I think about that because I'm not at the age where I could retire, right?
Ideally.
In my 40s. And I don't think the energy in me, the fight in me, it's still very fresh, and it's still not fight in terms of like fighting the grind or fighting, you know, toxic relationships or anything like that. But I want to live. I have such a newfound appreciation for life that I want to live, because my whole life I felt like I was in a prison, emotionally,
Right.
mentally, physically.
Yeah.
So I just want to live. I want to experience everything that there has to offer. I value my relationships with my girlfriends, and you know, although it's a work in progress in terms of like romantic relationships, but you know, that's a lot of us with a lot of, you know, our own story and our own journey with that. But aside from that, to be very honest with you, I have come to achieve so much more peace, so much more beautiful friendships with girlfriends and my family.
That's amazing.
Yeah, thank you.